Carmelo Anthony had a bad run, as any player can have, even getting his teams to accept the time they've been out of injury, so they can recover and get to a good level of performance. But in the case of the Rockets, it seems that they had very little patience with him. Many condemned the Houston team for what they did to poor Melo, but if you want more details, then you'll have to stay till the end of the video. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe down below and hit the bell icon to get notified when we post our videos. Things were going from bad to worse for Carmelo Anthony. From being considered one of the league's top scorers, the 34-year-old had become the scapegoat for every team he passed through. His ordeal began in New York, where Phil Jackson pushed for his departure from the Knicks, which had far bigger problems than Anthony's inefficiency. Later, the Thunder preferred to pay him a lot of money just to be able to fire him, blaming him for their resounding failure in the postseason. And now, just 10 games later, the Rockets could say goodbye to the 10-time All-Star, leaving their future hanging in the balance. The news dropped like a bomb, even though it wasn't unexpected. The Rockets finally decided to end veteran Carmelo Anthony's run with the team after only 10 games with the Texas franchise. After much internal discussion, the Rockets will separate their path with Carmelo Anthony and are working together in search of a resolution, explained General Manager Daryl Morey in a statement. The role we envisioned when Carmelo decided to sign with the Rockets has not been materialized, so we thought it best to move forward, as any other decision would not have been fair to him, added the president. The U.S. television network ESPN had revealed shortly before the Rockets were dispensing with Anthony, 10 times elected to the All-Star team, after not seeing clearly his role in the last game of the Western Conference. Carmelo, a former Knicks and Nuggets player, had landed in Houston this summer after a transfer from the Thunder to the Hawks, who decided to cut him off so he could go free to the Rockets. However, Melo never found his place in the Texas lineup, and after being benched, and at the end of the rotation to the detriment of rookie Gary Clark, decided to put an end to his adventure in Houston. Carmelo in the past was one of the best scorers in the NBA, has experienced a decline in his game due to his age, signing this season the worst numbers of his career, with 13.4 points and 5.4 rebounds in 29.4 minutes of play. In the summer, we went for a home run when we signed, but it didn't work out. He's tried everything he can. It's been great while he's been here. It just hasn't worked out for whatever reason, said team coach Mike D'Antoni. Anthony, who has not played since last Friday, will continue to be contractually bound to the team as his representatives seek him out in another franchise, according to news reports. Some argue that Anthony's game is incompatible with the NBA today, and that's a fact. Tracy McGrady even suggested that he retire before he was remembered as a loser. However, we're talking about the top scorer in the history of the US basketball, and one of the most talented offensive players of all time. Clearly, his best years are far behind him, but Anthony still seemed to have something in that tank. Carmelo Anthony's situation at the Houston Rockets was not exactly comfortable. The Brooklyn eavesdropper wasted no time in finding his way out of the Texas franchise after it became clear to him that he wasn't counted on. He arrived on the team last summer, but the experiment of putting him in a system with James Harden, Chris Paul, and Clint Capella has not worked. Something that has placed Melo in the position of the bad guy in the movie, making real NBA legends like Tracy McGrady complain. You know what? I honestly think Melo should retire. I really do. I don't want him to go through another situation like this where people are just filling his legacy with negativity, Tracy McGrady explained in a note. I don't think it's worked in the last 2 years. You have a Hall of Fame career, so just go ahead and let it go. In 10 games for the Houston Rockets, Carmelo Anthony had averaged 13.4 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 40.5% from the field. But in his last game with the Texas team, against his former Oklahoma City Thunder, he scored just 2 points with a painful 1-11 in field shooting. Carmelo Anthony had his rematch against Houston Rockets, with a complete and efficient task for the victory of Portland Trailblazers, who signed him to a contract. Terry Stotts' team beat one of the toughest teams in the NBA on their own turf, with a great level of the Oregon Big Three. Melo faced his former team and shined. 18 points, 12 rebounds, 7 and 10 field, and showed no hard feelings. I left all that behind while I was away. It wasn't a bed of roses for Carmelo Anthony to get where he is now. A journey of more than a year where he hit bottom as an NBA star and had to retrain himself to be able to enjoy basketball again and get a new opportunity. A path that began to turn in Houston Rockets, where a bad start for the Texas team claimed the position in the 6-time All-NBA rotation, being removed from the group's dynamics and later cut off after only 10 games. Thus, Anthony was left without a place in the NBA just 2 years after being an All-Star. Many rumors and conversations converged in the call of the Portland Trail Blazers, which opened the doors of the team in a situation very similar to the one the Texas team was living, being this finally a chance to relaunch his career. After the desert journey experienced by Melo, that circle was closed in the victory of the Portland Trail Blazers by 117-107 over Houston Rockets, where Anthony was one of the main figures as the third top scorer of the Oregonians. Thus, with his 18 points and 12 rebounds, the New York native was key in the resolution of the game in favor of the Stotts, especially for his efficiency in front of the hoop and the good selection of shot that he had showed, managing to score 7 of his 10 field attempts, 1 of 2 in triples. Melo's impact in the match was not long in coming, being the soul of the team at the start of the clash with a 5 out of 6 in front of the hoop in the first half, which led to the Stotts' team leaving with a 13-point advantage at halftime. The Rockets would later wake up to Russell Westbrook and Clint Capella leading the comeback to put the Blazers on the ropes. Thus, when the time came for the clutch to be formed, and with Lillard and McCollum over-defended by the Rockets, the latter found Anthony unmarked with 4 minutes to go, connecting a triple from the corner that would be the final blow to prevent Houston from consummating its comeback. Melo has been great for us. It's about doing the right things. It's about winning, and he wants to win. I think for him, being part of a win like this is probably more important, no matter who he's up against, analyzed Terry Stotts. These words were signed by Melo himself, who was trying to go a little further by taking stock of what had happened in the last year on a personal level. "I went through all that while I was away," said Anthony about everything that happened with Houston. "I faced every emotion to try to figure out why, questioning myself, working so hard to overcome that and be at peace with that," he added. Meanwhile, team star Damian Lillard, who finished the game with 25 points despite a poor finish, 1 of 5 in the last quarter, highlighted the secondary role adopted by Carmelo since his arrival in Portland, and especially on Wednesday night against his former team. "It's been really good, obviously. CJ McCollum and I are going to get a lot of attention in every action we take, and to be able to find Melo there and have an option to score is really useful for us," said Damian Lillard about Anthony's performance. For a player his age who was out of the league for about a year, I think it was impressive that he got in shape and was ready to play many minutes and contribute, and that's only gotten better over time, closed the base. Right now, and after 27 games with Portland, Melo is averaging 16.3 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 1.4 assists, with 44% from the field and 39% in three-pointers, something significantly high and above the NBA average. And in short, if the NBA were to give out the Comeback of the Year award, as the NFL does, few would argue that Carmelo Anthony wouldn't deserve it. The former Knicks and Nuggets, among others, returned to the league after a year of absence with the Portland Trail Blazers jersey and did not fall out of line. But he's also shown to the point of winning a Player of the Week award and being in the All-Star pool. In statements to the Portland Tribune, Anthony confessed that, "I would love to continue here, and that I feel it is a safe place to end my career. It could have happened before, but it didn't. Now, seeing where I am in my life and in my career, this is the place where I want to retire," he said, with the clear intention of stating that he is very happy in the team. In addition, Carmelo spoke about how he came to the Trailblazers and said that the conversation with them was different from what it was doing with the rest of the teams. "They made me feel welcome and wanted to see how I was doing. When you feel that way, it's hard to turn it down." He added that the opportunity to play with Lillard and McCollum caught my attention too, since Dame and I always talk, and with CJ we trained together in the summers in Los Angeles. I was always connected with him and knew how everything was going in Portland. It was worth noting that Anthony is guaranteed a contract until the end of the season, and then he could be a free agent without restrictions. However, if the Blazers want him, he will probably sign a renewal to keep his word and retire as a player from Portland. We hope you enjoyed the video. Check out some of the videos on the screen that we picked out just for you.